Hello, and welcome to another Talking Points episode. Today's episode is going to be entitled Bad Games Make You a Better Gamer. Or Bad Games Make You Better. Maybe I might just cut it to a little bit shorter. And yeah, first up, I should probably address that there's probably going to be some people who are very pissed off. How dare I say that this is a bad game? And bad is subjective. It's just one of those things that I would like to point out there. But as much as I'm a huge Castlevania fan, and I do actually enjoy Legacy of Darkness, I had it as a kid, well, a teen, and to be fair, maybe a kid's closer, but either way, I had it when I was younger, and I never actually got to finish it because I'd put a lot of time into the original Castlevania 64, and then Legacy of Darkness was like a much better version of Castlevania 64. So I played it a bit, but I don't even think I got back up to where I was up to on Castlevania 64. And it was one of those games that I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I knew it had some severe limitations. I think there's a lot that if you remade this game, like actually remade it from the ground up, not just doing like a HD resolution thing, if you actually made it from the ground up, this would probably be a pretty good game. Now, it's one of those where they didn't really know what they were doing. They didn't have the technology to do what they wanted to do. And there's just a lot of like old video gamey jank with this. So it's like you get this ranged attack here, which for the most part, and I know it'll probably eventually change with the way the game goes, but for the most part, you kind of only ever want to use that ranged attack because your other attack is you can do this like little claw thing, and every single time at the start of the game, I would use the claw thing, I would just get hit 100%, and it didn't seem like it was supremely powerful compared to the ranged attack, so why wouldn't I just use the ranged attack when that'll keep me safe? It'll keep me at distance, and I could just, kill the enemy without any fear, any danger. But, yeah, this is a game that has a lot of jank to it. The camera, the controls, pretty much everything about it. The boss fights, especially, the combat. It's one of those that it was, for its time, trying to bite off more than it could chew, quite clearly. And the N64 still actually has some truly great games. I have just recently rolled credits on Ocarina of Time again for the first time actually in about a decade, and I did that because of the potential remake that might be coming, and I wanted to have it like more fresh in my mind so that I could see any little changes that might happen. But on top of Ocarina, I've recently rolled credits on Conker's Bad Fur Day, and it still holds up as a platformer. Like, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't hold up humor-wise and everything, and all of that, like all of the social economic side of things, like the social political side of things, whatever words you want to use, all of that has got to the point of it definitely has some problematic areas that were problematic even back in the day, but a lot of us kind of, I'm not going to say didn't care, but it was more like, well, we're not going to not play the game because of this, whereas now we expect games to be held to a higher standard, and you can actually patch some things out if they're problematic, whereas that it'll never get patched out, and it's why it'll probably never get remade. But from a gameplay standpoint, still an absolutely fantastic game. And the N64 does actually have some truly great games to it. I know fine well Banjo-Kazooie games have held up. I know fine well that Diddy Kong Racing has held up, that Smash Bros. Has held up. There's a lot. But then there's games like this. And even by the standards of the time, it was considered kind of mid, and by today's standards, I think there'd be a lot of people who will outright rate it as a bad video game because, yeah, it's got some problems to it. It really does. It's got a lot of jank, got a lot of trying to do things that you're not supposed to do in a way that you're not supposed to do them, but you have to do it like that because it works. Like that there, I think kinda I was supposed to shimmy, but I knew I could do a bit of basic platforming. And this is why I actually wanted to bring up the topic of it. Because I truly do believe playing bad games, or games that have bad mechanics, or bad systems in them, or something where you feel the lack of polish compared to games of the era, games of the time. So again, like your Ocarina of Times, your Banjos, and stuff like that. There's action games out there that I know fine well play so much better than Castlevania did. But playing Castlevania made me better at the good games. And I can only liken it to if you're a chef and you're in a kitchen with a barely working stove, oven, whatever word you want to use, you don't really have any access to any hobs, all of your knives are dull, all of your chopping boards and everything are kind of gnarly, and you get given absolutely magnificent ingredients. Doesn't matter how good the ingredients are, doesn't matter how good the intentions of the dish are, doesn't matter how good of a chef you are. If I give you the exact same stuff and put you in an actual kitchen with an actual fully working oven with full set of hobs with all of the best chefing utensils and materials you could have, that chef would make two drastically different dishes even if they were actually trying to make the same dish. Hopefully I managed to cut that in time. I suddenly started to choke on my own spit and started to cough, and I was trying to not blow everyone's ears out. It's also kind of totally derailed me, but my point was chefing and making dishes with the same ingredients but different tools. If I do that as a one-off, just like a one-off experiment, the difference would be pretty drastic. You'd see it immediately. But if I said, right, make the entire dish, do all of this, but you're still going to be working in this kitchen for a full year. You're going to be using all of the bad utensils, all of the dull knives, all of the bad oven and everything. This is literally what you've got. You've got to make the best of it. You would make the best of it, and you would get so much better and practice and try to work harder and work with the limitations that you've got, and you would be able to really drastically improve your skill to the point of that then if I took you out of that kitchen and put you in a fully working kitchen with all of the best utensils and everything, you would, your skills would go through the roof. You would immediately be going, oh my god, so when I actually try to butcher this carcass, this piece of meat, the knife actually glides through and I can actually do what I'm supposed to be doing. You would easily be able to do all of the stuff that you've been doing, but with great difficulty. You'd be able to do it with so much ease. And this is what I mean. This is why I wanted to bring up that example, because I truly do feel playing games where the platforming is a bit janky, where the camera is horrific, where all of these little problems might come in, like where you might struggle on boss fights or struggle doing different move sets or anything like that. Like fighting games especially, the amount of actual benefit I got from the likes of Street Fighter from playing Clay Fighter as well. Because I like Clay Fighter. Clay Fighter is a decent enough, fine enough fighting game, but it's nowhere near as good as Street Fighter. And I used to play so much Clay Fighter, it's unbelievable, and it would help me practice the fundamentals. I would learn different moves, I would be able to do things via that game being janky and not that great, that then when I actually started to play Street Fighter again, I'd be much better in Street Fighter. So yeah, I wanted to make this video essentially to say, just because you may have grown up with a game and you recognize it as being bad or anything, and you've got this weird nostalgia, and you might be in the situation of trying to defend it to people at times where it's like, yeah, that's all I really had. Don't ever feel ashamed about that. And I know this is a weird tangent, but seriously, don't feel ashamed by it, because I can almost guarantee you that one game will have actually taught you how to do something better in another game, and you maybe didn't even realize it. I'm kind of a menace when I play the likes of Mario Party games or anything like WarioWare or anything at all where you're constantly changing what you're supposed to be doing, and the whole point of the game is that you're doing it and it's kind of a little less polished because you're not playing a full game designed around that mechanic. You're playing a tiny little micro game that takes 10 seconds, to be fair, probably 5 seconds in the case of WarioWare, or a full little mini game that has a 2-minute timer on a Mario Party. Every single one of those little things invariably comes from another game, and I can't say everyone certifiably, I can't guarantee it, but the amount of times that I will be playing a Mario Party game or something like that, and it'll be the first time we've played the board, first time we've played the minigame, and I'll absolutely dominate it, and people will be like, what the hell, I thought the whole point was you hadn't played this, and it's like, yeah, I hadn't, but I've played Jumping Flash on the PlayStation 1, what does that have to do with anything? The mini game we just played, where I'm jumping platform to platform, that basically handled like Jumping Flash on the PlayStation 1. Jumping Flash is a kind of notoriously bad platforming game, but I always liked it. Like, you're playing as a robot rabbit, if memory serves, and collecting carrots, and I love rabbits, I love bun-buns, I really do. I love robots. It was one of my favourite games as a kid on the PlayStation. I actually really loved it, and I don't care that it was bad, and it really was bad. I've tried going back to it. I've tried going back to a lot of bad games, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely a game that I had to play because that's all I had to play. This is not a fun game. This is not something I want to, like, ever play again. But I'm still really grateful for it because it got me to get so much better at so many little weird moments and mini games, and there's so many times that I'll be playing a game like Elden Ring. I absolutely love Elden Ring, and there's so many platforms that you can actually weirdly navigate using Torrent, your steed, to get items that you're not supposed to be able to get at parts of the game that you're not supposed to be able to get them. And when playing randomizers, it's really, really beneficial to learn how to do that. And the amount of times that I will play with people who have played a lot of Elden Ring, but they haven't played a lot of the weird, shitty, janky platformers that I've played. And they'll be like, so we could get over there if we could kind of manage it. And then they'll just see me do some weird bullshit. And it's like, are you reading The Matrix right now? And it's like, no, I'm just used to playing games from the N64. Did you ever play Mario 64? It's like, the camera on Mario 64 is so broken, you had to know where to jump and when to jump before you could actually see it. So the fact that I'm having to do this on horseback, it's kind of the same. And obviously I'm not shitting on Mario 64 there, where people are just like, how dare you say Mario 64 is bad? I don't like it. It's not actually a game that I enjoy, but I recognise it's not a bad game. I'm not saying that it's like a game that I hate and I think it's a bad game, which is why I hate it. I just don't particularly like Mario 64. But Mario 64 had some jank to it, let's be real, especially when you go back now. The DS version fixed a lot of the jank, and a lot of people weirdly hated that version. I would actually really like a full from the ground remake of that game, because maybe I'll actually enjoy it now that 3D Mario games play a lot better. But yeah, there's loads of little moments, loads of tiny things from the games that we grew up playing that without even realising it, you'll be playing a game in modern day and you'll be like, why was I able to do that weird janky platforming section in not the way that I was supposed to be doing it? And it's like, oh yeah, of course, because I played N64 growing up. Or that combat thing where it's like, dodging an attack felt really weird there. How was I? Oh yeah, because I used to dodge the serpent thing at the end of the first level on Castlevania. There's so many things like that. So yeah, that's the end of the video. And I'm going to say it until next time. I've been Sky Fellowship. And I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, if there's any games out there, post in the comments, like a game that you're grateful for, that you understand it was a really, really shitty game, but at the same time, it actually taught you something and got you to be able to be like really good at another game, purely by proxy of it being a similar genre or having a similar mechanic. That even if it's just as I see it, like the amount of times, so Conker's Bad Fur Day, again, not a bad game, and I know I'm elongating the video here, not a bad game, love the game. There's moments in Conker where it's like you're flying as a bat and carrying things, and the whole time you're flying, the camera's pulling you down and you're feeling the weight of the action, and it's designed to be a difficult section. And I've played similar games where it's like, as soon as I'm doing a mechanic in the game and I'm like, oh yeah, this feels like the flying section in Conker, I used to be really good at that flying section, and not surprisingly, I was good at it in the new game of whatever I was playing. So yeah, anyway, I am now done. I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!